Hello there gang, DD DeVere here with a software review tutorial thingy, and today we're taking a little look at TextureWorks. This is released recently on Steam, and as the title implies, it's a tool for dealing with textures, mainly aimed more at the 3D market than the traditional 2D. So interface wise it's easy enough to figure out. Everything's split into sections. Down the left here we have the exit and minimize buttons. You can probably guess what they do. You can also change the scale of your interface, and that just launches a little HTML help file, sort of manual. So what I shall do is I shall work from left to right. So to begin off with, the program does come with a rather nice little texture library to get you started. Various different sort of textures, which is always nice. So if you don't already have a texture collection, it's got you covered there. So the first tool to take a quick look at is the transfer colour. Now this is probably more for the 2D artist. If I go up and I pick the my textures. Oh, obviously my textures is my textures. And you can probably guess what it's going to do by the looks of that. If I pick a kitten, and thumbs up if you like kittens, pick a target in, let's pick that one, pick a target image, and we get that sort of thing, a kind of bizarre posterized effect. So that's going to be more of an appeal to the more 2D artist who's maybe looking for some mad effects rather than the 3D artist. Now a tool that is of much interest to the 3D is the texture map tool. So let's launch that now. And here we go. So this is fairly straightforward. It's a map generator for normal, displacement, ambient occlusion and specular. So let's load a texture. Let's pick another kitten. And you can pretty much guess what you've got to do. You just move your slide around. You've got the material down here, the material preview, and see what you just to taste. One nice little touch is, as you can see here, you can reverse the red or the green channel as needed for your target software. And then you need to take it into a separate photo editor for that. And yeah, you just keep mucking around with things till you find what you're after. And export, you can either save out a single image, or you can save them all out in PNG or JPEG. So that's very useful. I don't know what I hit load texture again for. I was just not paying attention. So let's go back to the main application itself again. So Rescale texture, pretty much what it suggests. You pick a 2x or a 4x scale. You pick whether you want your CPU or your GPU. And then you just select your image. Now I won't be able to demonstrate this, it's a bit of a long process anyway, and for some reason trying to use this while my recording software is going pretty much cripples my system. But it's kind of what you can imagine. It does exactly what it says on the tin. You'll get an image. If you put a 1024 image in, use 2x, you'll end up with a 248k image. So where this is probably going to be most useful is for somebody who's maybe you've got a texture collection already, but maybe some of them are a bit old and they're in like 256 or 512, and you'd like to give them a new lease of life, and you could certainly do with some more real estate on such small JPEGs. That would be, or such textures. This would be quite a useful tool for that. So let's now move over to the final set of tools. The texture generator. The probably guessed from the title, a tiled texture generator. Now there's actually two versions of it. There's the standard texture generator and the complex one. This apparently is for if you're having problems with the normal texture generator. If it's not quite performing the way you getting the results you want. So let's generate a tiled texture. Easy enough. Click on it. Let's pick something that we can actually see would be relatively tiled. A grass. That's the sort of thing you'd normally want to use. And that's it. Off it goes. Again, because of the slowdown on my recording software, I might have to edit this out, but it doesn't take overly long. Just it's not very exciting to watch, as you can imagine. I mean, honestly, so far, I've not actually used a complex texture generator. I've had one texture I had to quickly open in a photo editor, grab the clone tool and take one seam out of. But it's, yeah, so far its results have been pretty good. So you sort of see it as the complex generators there if you need it. But for the most part, it's been pretty good results. And this sort of thing, grass, concrete textures, that kind of thing, it seems to do a pretty good job. Oh, there we go, it didn't take that long. So let's minimise that. And there's our texture we've just made seamless. As you can see, if that's the original, if I go back this way, you can see it all change. So yeah, that's a pretty handy little tool. And then perhaps this is perhaps the most powerful tool in the box, and one that a lot of people are going to be most interested in, is the Texture Maker. Now you can upload and download to a sort of cloud library if you'd like. That's what these two buttons are for. Let's dive on in and have a look at the Texture Maker itself. So it is a procedural PBR texture generator. Easy enough. Scroll in and out with your middle wheel. Mouse click to navigate or to pan. So let's just click on it. As you can see, there's quite a few different type of nodes to add. So you click to add your node. Let's see let's add that one as well. And it's pretty straightforward. There's my blend. Rony brick, simplex noise. Ah, there we go, blend. So you just drag and drop your nodes, connectors, as you need them into whatever. Oops. That's one thing. It's sometimes a little bit finicky about getting really close to it. Sometimes it's not. It's very strange. So I give it a base colour. Oops, I clicked on there for. Let's give it a nice bright red. And there we go. And as you can see, there's quite a few parameters here to try messing around with to get the effect you're after. And of course you can keep building up the patterns. Perhaps be quicker and easier for me to show you one of the pre-built ones. As you see here, there's quite a lot of different settings, and of course there's your output channels. So let's pick this one to give you an idea of some of the things it's capable of. As you can see there, that's pretty decent. There is one thing, if you start changing different channels, say like diffuse, I think, oh, I don't like that, and I click that node back, you might think you've broken your texture, but it's just you have to reset your output node to the right type, which in this case is diffuse, of course, or albedo. And it's set back. So it's certainly very powerful. If I look at the muddy wood, for example, you can change the various types of. There is quite a few sliders. It's certainly a sort of tool you could be here for quite a while with mucking around. Obviously, I won't be going in depth with everything because, as you can see, there's just a ton of node types, a lot of various alterations you can do to really fine tune what you're after. And that was almost smooth there. So this is definitely perhaps the part of this software that most people are going to be interested in, the PBR procedural generator. This is quite a good one to show you some of obviously the powers of PBR. So you can change all the things like all this here and move all the translations, scales. Oh, that looks something slightly rude. Or is that just my mind? So yes, that's and then when you're done, you can export your PNGs, and it exports all your channels out. One quite nice thing is it automatically zips them together for you. So I thought it was a nice little touch. So let's go back to the main interface. So yes, TextureWorks. It's super simple to use. Quite a few useful tools. As I say, the transfer colour maybe more for the traditional artist, looking for some strange colour swatches or effects. But the texture maps, the tiled texture generator and the procedural generator are definitely very useful tools to have in your toolkit, without a doubt. And the best thing is the whole price is I think it's under £25 currently on Steam. So yeah, a tiled texture generator, a PBR texture generator and a texture map generator for under 25 quid. Worth it for those, I mean, just on its own. And then you've got this, as I say, that's probably more useful if you have some older textures. All in all, there's a fair amount of tool here for your money. And it's all, as I say, well, you've seen it's really super easy to use. It does work a bit faster when I don't have the recording software running, but outside of that, I suppose it would be nice if there was a way, with the texture generator, if there was a way to, I was about to say if there was a way to preset your scale, but I suppose, because they are at 1024 when you export them, but I just suddenly thought, you've already got a texture scaler here, so if I wanted it to be 248, I could just use that tool. Oh yeah. I never thought of that. Okay, so so they 1024. The texture maps, by the way, they export at whatever size you bring them in at. So if it's a 1024 map and you generate a map based off of that, there'll be 10. All the other textures will also be 1024. So yeah, all in all, stability's been good. So if you're into the 3D world at all, especially to do with dealing with textures, this is certainly something for under 25 quid that is well worth adding to your toolkit. So overall, I hope you found this useful or educational in some way. And as ever, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to let me know you're alive. And I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.